come to Buckingham Palace in highly unusual circumstances.
Prince Andrew has been caught out once again, with secret admissions, palace cover-ups, and once again the police refusing to investigate. This is John Bryan, and he was secretly filmed admitting things that contradicted Andrew's public defence. But despite this, no police, no media headlines, and therefore no accountability. The only reason I'm even aware of this is because Piers Morgan on his YouTube channel pulled this up.
I was really pissed because he lied to me about Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed.
A few weeks later.
Do you 100% believe Andrew when he says he didn't have sex with Virginia Giuffre?
I don't think, I think, let me say it this way. Not only do I 100% believe him, but I absolutely know in my heart that it's not true.
And to go deeper, the only reason we know about this is because of Keith Media, who laid claims about John O'Brien being friends with the Queen, friends with Princess Diana, and also having a relationship with Sarah Ferguson, Prince Andrew's ex. This is the same John Bryan who was caught on camera, maybe kissing, maybe sucking on Fergie's toes. No one is above the law unless you're wearing a crown, in which case, congratulations, you're officially invisible. Part 1, Allegations.
What they were doing and why they were there, I had nothing to do with.
For other girls. I was so pissed about that. I was really pissed. I was really pissed because he lied to me about Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew, and then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. No, that he was f***ing underage girls. That's not cool.
And here is what John Bryan said at the time when he came out to defend Andrew.
I believe Andrew is innocent. If he genuinely was involved in orgies, as has been alleged, then Epstein would have used that to try and bribe the Queen into paying out millions to protect her family. Andrew has never had any money. The Queen was the one with the money.
At the time of all of this unfolding, Bryan was smuggled into Windsor to try and sort out the situation with Andrew. He produced a 5-page strategic plan to try and deal with the fallout of Virginia Giuffre.
Tell me your story.
So my story, you want to know my story?
What?
I've been so famous at times when I was on the front page of every newspaper because I was working with the Queen of England.
Okay.
She's Queen Elizabeth. I was working with all the families. Princess Diana was my best friend. And I met the Duchess of York.
Okay.
That's Prince Andrew's wife. They were separated. And Sarah and I sort of fell in love. And we lived together for 7 years, 6 years, in my house in England.
Now, the next bit is going to raise an eyebrow. Bryan claims he raised Beatrice and Eugene like they were his own kids. You can take that as proof of how close he was to the family, or a sign that this whole story is stranger than we thought. Either way, it's revealing.
And I raised their 2 little children. They're so cute.
Wait, her
Beatrice and Eugene. Those were my children. Those were my kids. I raised those kids. Day to day raised. I was father to those kids.
This wasn't a rumour or tabloid gossip. This is a royal fixer on hidden camera directly accusing Prince Andrew of sleeping with underage girls, and Bryan was no outsider. He was handpicked by Andrew to run his crisis management when it all kicked off with Virginia Giuffre. His words, they can't be spun out of context, they're on tape.
Do you believe that Prince Andrew has sex with Virginia Giuffre?
No, they was f***ing underage girls. That's not cool. I think that part of the reason that I was saying these things is I had quite a lot to drink, and I just was not speaking the truth, and I have to admit it, and I regret very much what I said, and none of it reflects what I actually believe. And what I was saying was stuff that was basically you could Google anywhere in the world, and I regret it sincerely and deeply.
I mean, the key part of what you were caught on camera saying was what I'm about to play. Let's just play it and then I'll ask you about it. This is where you talk about Prince Andrew and whether he may have had sex with underage girls.
I was really pissed because he lied to me.
Lied about
Epstein. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew. And then I found out he was lying. I was
lying
so
about
pissed. No, that he was f***ing underage girls. That's not cool.
I mean, look, I've had a few drinks in my time, but I don't remember having a few drinks and then saying the complete opposite to what I actually believe to random people in bars. I don't know why alcohol would make you do such a U-turn on what you think.
Well, I think it was much more than alcohol. I think that it was alcohol combined with somebody that, you know, I have to confess, I was very taken with this young lady, and she, you know, the more encouragement of the negative things that she liked to hear, and so I was trying to, you know, it was a mistake. I can't say it any other way, and I can only say that I regret it very much, and it does not reflect in any way, shape, or form what I believe to be true.
In the spy game, this is known as a honey trap, and a young, attractive woman grabbing his eye, and he starts opening up. This has been used, in Britain at least, since World War II. He admits, denies, apologises, says it's all lies, and circles back to palace talking points. If you want to see royal privilege in action, watch a royal crisis manager meltdown on live TV. Part 2, Cover-Up. The sting revealed the truth, but in Britain, where the truth is inconvenient for the palace, the machine kicks in, or in this case, it doesn't kick in. You would assume that the tabloids would have gone head over heels for a story like this, because it's ginormous. It's someone who's worked inside the palace claiming that Andrew has lied. There's nothing in the press, at least in the UK, but Times India, Newsweek, Daily Beast, they've all reported on it a few years earlier.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures, she had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
Now, it was interesting because while researching this, I came across Fox News and their assessment of what Amy had said. It's pretty damning.
And ABC News said that did not meet their editorial standards. What are those standards? I want them to come clean because they went after Brett Kavanaugh with 40-year-old hearsay, with no corroborating witnesses, no evidence. So what were those standards that allowed that to get on air? I'd like to know. And it looks like the play was, we don't get access to royal family interviews on GMA.
Yeah.
Please. And you're not going to go protect children? And this is the Disney company? The Disney company. It's sick.
Yeah, I mean, and the suggestion that nobody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was, I mean, I don't know who these people are,
Right.
but Jeffrey Epstein was, linked to many powerful people for years. I mean, he wouldn't be a household name necessarily, but that the executives at ABC in New York City had no idea who he was, I find very difficult to believe. I mean, it also smacks of a lot of similarities of what we saw with the Weinstein story.
Right.
And I think that these institutions, these corporations need to ask themselves, who are we and what are we?
So let's skip back to the modern era, and we get a PR masterclass from John Bryan, who, when asked, do you think Virginia Giuffre was lying, he seems to pivot and go on this empathy route that he talked about when he was advising Prince Andrew.
Was she lying
Normal thing. And the reason that he would have a photo with her is because he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
And so that's why he'd be happy to have a photo
So
with her.
why did Virginia Giuffre said that he had sex with her 3 different times?
Because I think that, victims, the abuse and the victimization of people like Virginia never stops. Not only does it happen during the period she's with Epstein, but after you're even out of it, you're victimized by the legal system. It takes 10 years to get justice. You're victimized by financial institutions that come and lend you money in order for you to fight your legal case. Every aspect of the system is geared against them. And you know what? Then you have the nice journalistic tabloid press, and they come to you and they go, wow, would you like to tell us your story? We'll pay you. And you feel in your mind, wow, what, is this the only justice there is? Is this justice? And, at some level, I think you begin to think, yes, this is the only justice I'm ever going to get.
But it
And
sounds,
you know what?
It sounds like you're saying she deliberately lied.
No, I think that there's, in the testimony and in her own testimony, which I've seen, in many occasions she told, I didn't say that. That wasn't true. I was doing a fictitious novel, all sorts of things that she said and admitted to say that things that stories she had told were absolutely not true. So, yes, that is quite possible.
It takes him all the way to the end after showing all that empathy to say, yes, it's possible that she's a liar. And yet we get on to Andrew. And Andrew, in this interview that millions of Brits saw, was clearly lying, but that's okay.
I was really pissed because he lied to me about Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed.
If you thought this story couldn't get any stranger, enter Lady Hervey, Prince Andrew's ex, who launches into a storm of conspiracy theories. Get ready, because this is where the royal saga goes completely off the rails.
What an achievement for her.
was a composite.
But who made the composite? Just tell us who made it.
I can't tell you his
well,
name.
it's ridiculous,
But,
I mean, if
yeah.
you can't tell us, then you'll just have no
Well, the
credibility.
FBI has
Victoria.
everything, but
if you
yeah,
don't
we had
say
this
what is the
argument
motive.
2 years ago.
Well, what is the motive?
Because I want this guy to stay alive.
But who is
because
what is the
everyone
motive?
dying in this case.
What is the motive of the person who, in your view, falsified this photograph?
Oh, well, they were taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel. Who knows?
Israel? Goodness me, come on. What do you mean, who knows? I mean, you're putting forward all these photographs, you've got no...
This is real.
No, it's not. This is all false.
Okay, all right.
This
Well, maybe go
table
back to
is
bed.
full-
You're 70
Why would Israel be
right?
taking down the British royal family?
Tell me that.
Well, you tell us. You're the one who
say
raised
that.
it.
This
You
is a
raised
fact.
it. You raised it, that Israel is
Calm
behind...
down, old man. Look,
What
just
tell me to
chill.
calm down.
So
You're the person...
this-
Why would
said-
Israel be
why
trying
would
to
Israel want
concoct
to
a
be able
picture
to-
to shame the royal
I
family?
don't know because
But you just said it.
I'm not talking about those agencies right now. I made that clear.
Part 3, the press. For over a week, nothing in the UK media. It's only been Piers Morgan showing this. And it's thanks to a US sting. Is it palace influence? Is it the threat of lawsuits? Is it possible that the British press just don't know or have no interest in making money. And what about the police?
What investigation is taking place into the allegations from Virginia Roberts concerning Prince Andrew?
I think what you're referring to is associated with Jeffrey Epstein, who I will talk about since he is deceased. And the position there is that we have had more than one allegation that is connected with Mr. Epstein. And we have reviewed those, assessed those, and we have not opened an investigation. And we have concluded that there is no investigation for us to open, and we haven't.
Have you seen the testimony or notes from the Duke of York's Royal Protection Team pertaining to the night of the allegation he strenuously denies, what took place in a London apartment?
So I really am not going to comment any further, Nick.
One comment I would make is I think an awful lot of money, an awful lot of police time now goes into these historic offences and all this malarkey, and, you know, £60 million I saw was being spaffed up the wall on, you know, some investigation into historic child abuse and all this kind of thing. I mean, what on earth is that going to do to protect the public?
Does anyone else feel as if there's something else going on here?
Is he above the law, the Duke of York?
No one is above the law.
Yet we've seen this before. When the powerful are involved, the truth gets buried. Just like in Diana's case, the system protects its own.
What if this woman's name had been Diana Smith, and she'd written in a note which had been subsequently unveiled, "My husband Charles Smith wants me to die in a car accident," and subsequently she did. In any other family or in any other country, surely Charles Smith would have been called to the witness stand at the inquest into his wife's death.
You know, in Britain, the king can wave and the whole country bows, but when it comes to justice, turns out the only thing waving is the chance of a real investigation. Remember folks, royal privilege means never having to say you're sorry unless you're caught at a bar, and even then, you just have to say you were drunk. If you got this far in the video, please leave a comment, especially as now it's been confirmed that YouTube has throttled my channel as a result of some of my Vox Pops doing really well. In the meantime, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my YouTube supporters and Patreon supporters. You keep this channel going and growing. Once again, thanks for listening. Bye for now.